If I were to recap the first half of the season, I'd say that, first of all, I'm relatively pleased with the record. If you would have told me at the start of the season, with a whole new system, a whole new staff, and a whole new group of players, that we'd be 8-3, with wins over the top-ranked team in the country, the 23rd ranked team in the country, and playing a pretty solid schedule through and through, I'd be happy with 8-3. Now, on the other side, I'm not exactly pleased with the way that we're playing game in and game out. I think we can become much better defensively. I think we're a little inconsistent on offense, and I still have a bad taste in my mouth for the loss that we had right before Christmas. So, long story short, I guess I'm like any coach. I think we can play better, but I'm relatively pleased with where we are right now. If I were to assess the strengths on this squad after 11 games, I'd say, first of all, is our depth. I think that we can go 4 or 5 deep into our bench and not have a lot of drop-off. I can't say that we've got, 1 or 2 guys that are heads and shoulders above the rest, which really makes it difficult for our opponents to, focus in on one guy. So I would say right now our depth is our biggest asset. I think in addition to that, we're shooting the ball relatively well from the three-point line, particularly with Brandon Kunkel shooting it well, Richard Rose shooting it well, and now with the addition of Brett Thompson in the post, I think that's going to magnify the difficulty our opponents could have when we're playing at all cylinders, because they're going to want to sink into the lane some to protect themselves against Brett's size, and then still have to be concerned about the three-point line. Regarding our 2 upperclassmen who are leading the way, Richard Rose is really off to a great start. I'm very impressed with Richard, and I find it kind of interesting that he's putting up the numbers that he is, because he's kind of an unorthodox player. His jump shot isn't exactly something that you'd get out of a textbook, but at the same time he makes shots from the three-point line. He's got an excellent mid-range game, which is something that you don't see very often anymore. He can pull up at 15, 14, 13 feet and make shots. And then probably the biggest asset that he brings offensively is he gets to the free throw line at a remarkable rate. He's got an uncanny ability to get guys off their feet, lean into them, get threes the traditional way, and also to draw fouls late in games when teams have to foul. He loves having the ball in his hands, and he's shooting above 80% from the free throw line. Then the other guy that just I sort of take for granted, I guess, is Toriano Adams, our leading senior returner. Toriano has just been phenomenal from a numbers standpoint. He continues to get double-doubles at a high rate. I'll be looking at the stat sheet after games, and I'm surprised that he gets as many double-doubles as he does, because he does it so quietly, if it's possible to have a double-double in a quiet manner. He just gets tons of rebounds by pure aggressiveness and an unbelievable knack for following through on a play till its completion. He's unlike any kid I've coached in 25 years. He's an amazing rebounder, particularly on the offensive end. Regarding my own personal feelings being back on the bench, it's just been fantastic. I think sometimes when you have something taken away from you that you really enjoy, and then you get a second chance, it means more. And I don't have any hesitation in saying that I'm as happy as a coach at the NAI level as I was at the NCAA level, Division 2, 3, or 1, whatever it was. I've really enjoyed being with the players on the practice floor. That's what I love the most. I love the competition of game day again. The wins are fun, of course, and the losses are still painful, but just the fact that I'm doing what I love to do again really has made this first semester very enjoyable. I think it's still a work in progress with Brett from a number of standpoints. One, I think Brett is still working his body into game shape. He's been off the court for 1 calendar year, and I think that it's a challenge for him right now to get where he needs to be to defend guys that are smaller than he faced at the Division I level, to get himself in position where he can find a rhythm in the scoring the basketball, be it out on the perimeter or in the post. getting used to working with Toriano, who really gets a lot of his work done around the basket, which is also the territory that Brett likes to operate in. So collectively as a group, we're trying to get used to having Brett. Brett's getting used to a new team. Our first game, actually, we lost with him in the lineup. So we've got a long way to go. But the ceiling is high, I think, because of Brett, the addition of Brett and the continual adjustment of our players to my style. We've got a lot of improvement to do, which is pretty exciting to me. I think we can become an even better team than we were in the first semester. As we look at the second semester, there's so much unknown for me yet because I'm very unfamiliar with the conference. Every coach in this conference, with the exception of myself and the coach at Graceland, have been at their schools for over 15 years. And there's something inherently positive for those coaches who have been around for a long time. They just know what to expect. Even before they pop in a tape to scout their opponent, they have a pretty good idea of what that team does. But I don't have that advantage. And that's okay because it's new for everybody, and I'm also new to the league. So I think they're having to adjust to the way that we play. My goals for the rest of the season are as they've always been. I've always had the goal of winning the national championship. And to do that, I think we have to compete very, very well in the Heart of America Conference. And so we're going to just take it day by day, which I know is coach speak, but it's the soundest way to go through a season. We need to have practices every day that are at a high level. The competition in practice is very good. Our second team many times beats our first team in scrimmages. So we'll just continue to get better on a day-to-day basis, work hard in preparation for each game, take them one at a time, and hopefully put together enough wins that we'll be one of the teams that represents the Heart of America Conference in the national tournament in March. So we'll see how it goes from here.